Thanks for logging on to myfoxhurricane.com. 16 days left in the season, and we are now talking about Tropical Depression number 19. This was that area down across the Caribbean. We've been talking about this for many, many days. It was Invest 99, then it became potential tropical cyclone number 19. Well, now it is now Tropical Depression number 19. You're seeing a lot of convection with this, but still a fairly disorganized system. It's going to continue to try and organize itself over the next couple of days. But really the biggest threat right now with this is going to be the really heavy rains. You can see it's very close to land, and quite possibly a lot of these land interactions is going to play a big factor in any kind of development as we go through the next several days. But as we go through the next, say, 4 to 5 days, as it is working its way by Honduras up into the Yucatan Peninsula, we're looking at really some very life-threatening rains, flash flooding, mudslides across Honduras. Honduras could pick up to 20 inches of rain, and there could be some isolated areas that pick up to 30 inches of rain. So that is a very dangerous situation that is setting up for them, but we will continue to watch this hurricane reconnaissance plane. They are currently flying in the system to get a better idea of the overall structure of this system. But as we plot where the actual center is right now, you do notice really most of the convection is all sitting on that western side of the storm. So we all know just by looking at these systems over the years, you want to see that convection really starting to wrap around the system. That gives you a much better indication that the system is getting stronger and starting to really organize. So at this point, you can look at just the satellite alone. You can tell, well, this has got a ways to go, but we'll get much more information as the hurricane reconnaissance flight goes on and we get much more of that radio back to us. And then we start to plug all this information back into the computer models and really refine that forecast. But things have changed a lot over the past couple of days here, where at one point it was looking like we were going to have a hurricane working its way up into the Gulf of Mexico. It does look like something's going to work its way up into the Gulf of Mexico. Probably not a hurricane, and might not even be a tropical storm. Kind of a question, will it even be a tropical depression at this point? Currently, it's moving to the west at 14 miles an hour. Top winds are at 35 miles an hour. Notice that track, basically right along the coastline. Expected that this will at some point become Tropical Storm Sara. That's not even a certain, but it does look like it's close enough to that. So for now, we'll assume that it does become Tropical Storm Sara. Brings those life-threatening rains across Honduras. Very slow moving through here. You notice here we are on Friday morning. Here we are on Sunday morning. It hasn't moved all that much, and then starts to work its way up into the Yucatan. You notice the L, so we're not talking about a tropical storm. We are talking about a tropical depression moving back out into the Gulf of Mexico. And then you look at the computer models and you see that turn. Now, that's what you would expect this time of the year. Anything that is pushing to the north, it is eventually going to turn towards the north and the east. With Raphael, it did pretty much the opposite of what you would expect for this time of the year, and it moved towards the west. So this looks like it'll move towards Florida, but I know this looks scary. You're saying, hey, we've got a bunch of lines heading our way. We've got a tropical system. This doesn't show you the intensity of this. So you look at the Fox model and you notice the wind speeds with this. You just see the blues in here. And so we're way down on the scale. We're more along the lines of a tropical depression, maybe a very weak tropical storm. We're certainly not talking about a strong wind event. We're talking about a lot of rain that works its way through and then starts to emerge back into the Gulf of Mexico. You look at the European, the GFS, and our own Fox model right there. You see the center of this, and watch as we go through time. You're seeing a lot of consensus that this is going to stay a very weak system. And in some respects, it becomes very hard to actually tell exactly where the center of this storm is. So what you're really looking at is just a lot of moisture working its way up into the Gulf of Mexico, staying very weak and then pushing in our direction. So as we head into about Wednesday of next week, we'll see just, I think, really a big slug of moisture heading right towards us, and that big increase in our rain chances but you are certainly not seeing a lot of wind with this. And this is not going to be a wind event. This is going to be more of an event where we're just seeing a lot of rain heading our way. We've got the tropical storm where we're expecting to become a tropical storm down across the Caribbean with the big ridge of high pressure. So those overall steering currents haven't changed all that much. This will work its way into the Yucatan as a depression. And then as that ridge pushes away, the trough digs down across the southeast. That's what will steer this. So there's still a question of exactly where all this goes, but it does look like it'll be essentially a big increase in the moisture over the state as we head into the middle of next week. Of course, we're going to watch all of this. We will continue to update you right here on myfoxhurricane.com.